Hey guys, what is up? It is the Fast Break Report here, bringing you guys another vlog. So we have to talk about the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets look absolutely fucking horrendous. Okay, I'm not gonna be subtle, light, or discreet about it. They look fucking atrocious. They could not defend a parked car with an Uzi, as Shannon Sharp would say. I watched them play the Pacers last night. Okay, and the Pacers beat the fucking brakes off the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, like, they had no answers at all for the three-point shot. The Indiana Pacers scored a franchise record 27 three-pointers against the Brooklyn Nets. And for me, being a Pacers fan, it was cool to see. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, yeah, this is cool. Like, I like to see my young guys getting some burn. It's nice to see Ben Mathurin scoring 32 points. It's nice to see Tyrese Halliburton scoring 25 plus. Even Buddy Hield was getting in on the action. He scored 17. Isaiah Jackson looked like fucking Dwight Howard against them. I mean, it's just like, I think Isaiah Jackson had like 15, 10, and 5 or some crazy shit like that. It's just like they could not defend the Pacers at any level last night. And tonight against the Pacers, Ben Simmons is out, but I can't help but think Steve Nash's job is on the line. I mean, right now the Brooklyn Nets are 1-5 to start the season. If they fall to 1-8 or 1-10, I find it hard to believe that they're going to keep Steve Nash as their head coach. I just find it hard to believe. They are ranked dead last in the NBA in defensive rating, and they're ranked 29th out of 30 teams in opponent points per game. So they are allowing pretty much the most points per game, and they have literally the worst defense in the NBA for defensive rating, and they shouldn't. Okay, you have Ben Simmons, who is arguably a defensive player of the year player every single year on your roster. You have Royce O'Neal as a solid defender. Kevin Durant can defend when he wants to. I mean, same thing with TJ Warren. Edmund Sumner was a solid player for the Pacers, so they have Cam Thomas, they have Seth Curry, like, they have guys on the roster, they have Joe Harris. There is zero fucking reason why the Nets should be losing games to the Indiana Pacers, okay? Like, I'm not gonna lie, the Indiana Pacers beat the Brooklyn Nets ass so bad the other night that Pacers fans were talking about being a 4th or 5th seed in the fucking East, okay? Like, that's how bad the Pacers beat the fucking Nets last night. So I don't know, man. I'm not sure what's going to happen or what's going on with the Nets at the moment, but a lot of this also, for me, stems back to the summer. When Kevin Durant demanded a trade, and he specifically requested from Joe Tsai, the owner, that, you choose me or Steve Nash and Sean Marks. And if I'm the owner, I'm choosing Kevin Durant at this point, and even then, at that point, I was choosing Kevin Durant. Okay, there's only one Kevin Durant. You can find another GM, you can find another head coach. You cannot find another Steve Nash. There is not another Steve Nash, Kevin Durant. There is not another Kevin Durant in the fucking NBA. Okay, and honestly, I mean, I can understand why Kevin Durant wanted Steve Nash gone. Okay, Steve Nash doesn't emphasize defense. It seems like Kevin Durant is just not a priority at the Nets for whatever reason. It just feels like the Nets organization does not value Kevin Durant, and that's really weird to say, but I don't know why. I just feel like they don't give him the same treatment that they're giving Kyrie Irving, and that seems a little fucking weird to me. And on top of it, I feel like he doesn't like Sean Marks because you traded Ben Simmons for James Harden. Yes, you got draft capital in exchange for that, but James Harden was, I would argue, I don't know this to be sure, but I would assume, was Kevin Durant's friend. And instead of trying to salvage that relationship and keep arguably one of the greatest rosters the NBA had ever seen together, Sean Marks traded James Harden for Ben Simmons, who, Ben Simmons, when it comes to shooting, is fucking horrendous. I mean, he's afraid to shoot. They already have a game this year where Ben Simmons didn't attempt a shot for an entire half. He finished the game with 0 points. And if you're going to have Ben Simmons on your team, he needs to at least score like 8 or 9 points a game. Okay, at the very least. If he can score 10 or 12, great. But you can't have Ben Simmons be on your team and grab, 8 rebounds, dish 8 assists, grab a couple steals, be a solid defender, and score fucking nothing. Okay? He needs to take at least, I would say, 6 or 7 shots a game. At least to make it look like you're trying to score. And I love what Ben Simmons does for this team. I feel like if they can utilize him like a Draymond Green type player, they will be fine. But I feel like everything that I saw against the Milwaukee Bucks in preseason, one of their last preseason games, I feel like everything I saw in that game just completely went out the fucking window. Since the start of the season, it's like, okay, regular season's here, fuck everything else. And you can't have that mentality, you know? So, I don't know really what's going on with Brooklyn, but I feel like there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. And the idea that Kevin Durant doesn't like Steve Nash, I don't know if that's indicative that the rest of the team doesn't like Steve Nash, because sometimes if a team captain doesn't like the head coach, that can sometimes be indicative that, you know, not only does the team captain not like you, but the rest of the team doesn't like you either. So, I don't know, man. We already know for a fact, though, that Kevin Durant's not pleased with Steve Nash after all the stuff that transpired over the summer. And I just feel like, you know, like, there's zero reason the Nets should be this bad. I feel like if the Nets fall to 1-8 or 1-10, which I have a feeling they're just going to beat the Pacers tonight. I feel like, you know, the other night where the Pacers just played out of their minds was kind of a fluke. But I just think this team is too good to be 1-5 right now. You know, you have arguably two of the best players in the NBA at their positions on your team, and, you know, you're losing to a team like the Pacers, who are arguably a play-in team, okay, or are a play-in team. So if they will even be that. You know, Detroit looked really good last night against Golden State, and they seem like they're trying to figure it out. So, you know, like I said, you know, the Pacers are probably a play-in team, and, you know, you just can't be losing games like that. And, you know, it just looked like I watched the game against the Pacers last night, and I was like, dude, a fucking high school team could have scored points against the Nets last night. And, you know, I think I forgot how many points the Pacers scored, but I want to say it was like 100 something. I mean, if I look at the box score from the other night, hold on. Was it October 30th or the 20th? It was the 29th. The Pacers scored 125 points against the Brooklyn Nets. Okay, Tyrese Halliburton had 26 points, 8 assists, and 6 rebounds. And Benedict Mathurin had 32 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. Isaiah Jackson had 18 and 10 and 4 assists. Jalen Smith had 8 points, 14 rebounds. Buddy Hield had 17. Buddy Hield almost had a triple-double. 17 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists. I mean, you can't be letting Buddy Hield do that to you, okay? Anytime Buddy Hield is putting up a fucking triple-double, you got some issues going on, okay? Considering Buddy Hield is mostly known as a shooter. So, I don't know, man. I don't know how the Nets turn this around, but it seems pretty obvious at this point, though. A coaching change is needed, and maybe they needed some type of culture change. I don't know what it is, but the Nets lost to the Boston Celtics last year in the playoffs. It felt like they relied really heavily on Kyrie and KD to win. And then against the Bucks in preseason, I was like, okay, you know, having Ben Simmons slash to the basket and then pass out to a three or, you know, kick out is opening up Kyrie and Kevin Durant and allowing other people to score. And I feel like that just completely went away since the season started. Their ball movement has been shit. Their defense has been shit. They have been like a horror story at defending the three. It's bad. It's really, really bad. And is it time to panic for the Nets? Yeah, I think so. I think it's time for the Nets to start panicking. And if I'm Joe Tsai, I'm starting to field some head coaching calls. Sorry, I am. You know, I understand Steve Nash is Steve Nash, but, you know, some people are not good head coaches. Okay, just because you are a great player does not mean you're going to be a good head coach. And I just feel like, you know, if this team doesn't start to improve on defense, because I feel like that's the main reason they're losing games, is they're just not defending, then you need to start making some phone calls. So tell me what you guys think about this down below in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your guys' opinions on this. A like helps me out. Subscribe if you guys want to see more. I'm the Fast Break Report, and I'm out of this motherfucker. Peace, guys.